Welcome to the Heartwarming Stories channel that celebrates the incredible bond between animals and humans. From tales of loyalty and friendship to miraculous rescues and emotional reunions, each video brings you a heartwarming story that will inspire and move you. Through inspiring stories, we remind the world that even the smallest act of kindness can create a ripple effect of hope and change. Whether it's a stranger helping another, a rescued animal finding a forever home, or an unexpected friendship that warms the heart, we bring you stories that uplift, inspire, and restore faith in humanity. This Top 10 Heartfelt Street Stories collection is a collection of 10 stories about people and animals. Each story is a different emotion full of humanity. Please enjoy the feeling. Here's a touching story about the rescue of a stranded stray dog and the special friendship between it and the person who saved it. On a cold winter afternoon, when strong winds blew through a deserted suburban road, Jack, an animal rescue worker, received an emergency call. A passerby reported that a stray dog was trapped under an old bridge after the storm last night. Without hesitation, Jack immediately drove to the scene. When he arrived, he looked down under the bridge and saw a small dog covered in mud, shivering with cold and fear. One of its legs was stuck between the rusty metal bars, and every time it tried to struggle, it would groan in pain. Jack gently approached, but the dog panicked, trying to back away even though it couldn't move much. Realizing that it was in a defensive state, Jack sat down, kept his distance, and gently said, "It's okay, little one. I'll help you get out of here." Jack's deep voice gradually calmed the dog down. After a while of patiently reassuring him, he slowly approached and carefully used the tool to loosen the metal bars that were holding its legs. The dog whimpered softly but no longer resisted like before. Finally, after a few minutes of trying, Jack was able to free it, but the wound on its leg prevented it from walking right away. Without thinking much, he took off his coat, wrapped it in his arms, and gently carried it to the car. At the rescue center, Jack took good care of the dog, from cleaning, bandaging its wounds to feeding it. But what touched him the most were its eyes. A pair of eyes that were once filled with fear, but now shone with trust and gratitude. In the following days, Jack spent time playing with it, calling it Lucky, because he believed that it was lucky to be saved. And in fact, not only was Lucky lucky, Jack also felt that his life became warmer thanks to its presence. As time passed, Lucky fully recovered, and Jack knew it was time to find a new home for it. But one day someone wanted to adopt Lucky. Jack realized that he could not leave it. And when he looked into those dear eyes, he knew that Lucky had also found his home, right next to him. From an abandoned stray dog, Lucky found a real family. And Jack also had a loyal friend, ready to accompany him on the next rescue journeys. This story reminds us that sometimes in the process of helping others, whether human or animal, we also find a part of the meaning of our own lives. In a dense western forest, where winter is covered with white snow and the vast forests stretch to the horizon, a man named Elias lives alone in a small wooden house. He is a hunter, but above all, he is a nature lover, respecting the lives of all creatures. One day, while crossing the forest to check his traps, Elias discovered an abandoned wolf cub in the snow. It was shivering, its clear yellow eyes shining with panic but also full of hope. Elias knew that if he left it, it would definitely not survive the cold night. Unable to bear it, he gently wrapped the wolf cub in his coat and brought it home. As time passed, Elias named it Fenrir. He took care of Fenrir like a true friend, feeding it goat's milk and every piece of meat he hunted. At first, Fenrir was wary. But gradually, he began to trust and cling to Elias. From a fearful wild creature, he became a loyal friend. 3 wandering. Every day, Elias and Fenrir wandered through the forest together. Fenrir grew up quickly. His gray fur became thick and shiny. His eyes shone with intelligence and loyalty. When Elias went hunting, Fenrir followed quietly, observing his every move. On cold winter nights, he curled up by the fireplace, resting his head on Elias's feet, enjoying the warmth of love. But Elias knew that no matter how much he loved Fenrir, he was still a wolf, a creature of nature. One day, when Fenrir had grown up, he began to listen to the call of the deep forest. He stood by the door, looking at Elias with regretful eyes. Elias understood that it was time to let it return to its own world. With a heavy heart, Elias opened the door, watching Fenrir run into the white snow. But just when he thought Fenrir had left, he suddenly felt a warmth beside him. Turning around, Elias saw Fenrir still standing there, his golden eyes glowing under the moonlight. It was free, but still chose to stay by his side. From then on, Elias and Fenrir became two companion spirits, one human, one wolf, together overcoming the cold winters and warm summers. Between the wild world and the human world, they found a special connection, a friendship that transcended the boundaries of species. Touching story, friendship without borders. In a small village among the green fields, there was a kitten named Miu. Miu was a very naughty and curious cat. One day, while playing by the edge of a deep hole, Miu accidentally slipped and fell into the water. The deep hole was filled with rainwater, and Miu panicked and cried out, trying to swim but could not float. Meanwhile, nearby, there was a German shepherd named Max. Max was a strong and brave dog, always protecting his flock of sheep. When he heard Miu's cry for help, Max immediately ran over. Seeing Miu struggling in the water, Max's heart was filled with worry. Without hesitation, Max jumped into the hole and swam towards Miu. Miu saw Max and felt hope. Max swam over and grabbed Miu's body with his mouth, pulling her to the shore. Although the water was cold and Miu was exhausted, Max's presence was like a light in the dark night. Max was not only a dog, but also a hero in Miu's eyes. When they both reached the shore, Miu was shivering from the cold, but Max quickly curled up around Miu to keep warm. Miu felt the warmth from Max's body, and the safety that the dog brought. "Thank you, Max. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here anymore," Miu said in a weak voice. Max just smiled and wagged his tail. "It's okay, Miu. We're friends. I'll always be here to protect you." From that moment on, the friendship between Miu and Max became closer than ever. Together they explored the fields, played in the sun, and shared happy moments. As time passed, Miu was no longer a weak kitten. She became a brave and wise cat, always by Max's side. The two formed an inseparable couple, overcoming all challenges together. One day, while walking in the forest, they encountered another hole, but this time Miu was not afraid. She learned that, with a friend like Max by her side, all difficulties can be overcome. Miu looked at Max and said, "Thank you for saving me. You are not only a hero, but also my best friend." Max just shook his head and said, "I will always be here for you, Miu. Our friendship is stronger than anything." The story of Miu and Max is not only a story of rescue, but also a symbol of true friendship, where courage and loyalty always go hand in hand. The friendship between cats and dogs, two different species, but can create a very special bond. In a peaceful countryside, where green fields stretch to the horizon, there is a sheepdog named Rex. Rex is the pride of Mr. Peter's family, a longtime farmer with a large flock of sheep. Loyal and intelligent, Rex not only helps herd sheep, but also protects them from wild animals or unexpected dangers. One summer day, when the sun was shining brightly on the fields, little Tommy, Mr. Peter's nephew, came to the farm to play. The 6-year-old boy was full of energy, running around everywhere, passionately chasing butterflies and exploring the vast world around him. Meanwhile, Mr. Peter was busy checking the fence behind the farm. No one noticed that Tommy had accidentally wandered away from the yard, gradually moving towards the dirt road leading to the main road. Suddenly, from a distance, a truck was rushing towards him. The driver had no idea that a boy was running straight into the road. Rex, who was lying on the hill watching the sheep, suddenly realized the danger. His eyes flashed with alertness. Without hesitation, Rex rushed down at an incredible speed. When Tommy was only a few steps away from the road, Rex rushed forward, grabbed the boy's shirt, and yanked him back. Bang! The truck passed by in a split second. The strong wind from the sudden braking blew up a cloud of dust. The driver stopped the car in panic, his heart pounding as he realized that a terrible accident had almost happened. Tommy fell to the grass, looking around in confusion. Before the boy could understand what had just happened, he saw Rex standing there, panting, his eyes still fixed on him as if to make sure he was safe. The sound of hurried footsteps echoed. Mr. Peter rushed over, his face pale. When he saw that Tommy was not injured, he quickly hugged his nephew tightly, tears welling up in his eyes from fear and relief. The driver got out of the car, his face still dazed. "I didn't see the boy. If it weren't for this dog, I don't know what would have happened." Mr. Peter turned to Rex, his eyes filled with gratitude. He bent down, stroking his head, his voice choked. "Good job, Rex. You saved Tommy's life." Rex wagged his tail lightly, his gentle eyes shining with joy when he saw Tommy safe. From that day on, Rex was not just an ordinary sheepdog, but also the hero of the family. The story of his bravery quickly spread throughout the area, becoming a wonderful testament to the loyalty and intelligence of dogs. To Tommy, Rex is not only a close friend, but but also a savior who protected him in the most dangerous moment of his life. Rescue the stray dog. On a rainy afternoon in Prague, Czech Republic, there was a woman named Anna. She was an elementary school teacher, living alone in a small apartment near the old town. Anna's life was quite monotonous, but she always found joy in taking care of bonsai and reading books. However, that day, while walking in the rain, she encountered something unexpected. While passing through a small alley, Anna heard a faint whining sound. She stopped, listened, and realized that the sound was coming from a dark corner. When she approached, she saw a small, sickly dog with dirty fur and eyes full of fear. The dog lay curled up, seemingly without the strength to stand up. "Oh, poor thing!" Anna exclaimed, her heart filled with pity. She knelt down and held out her hand to the dog. "Hey, baby, don't be afraid. I'll help you." He looked at Anna with suspicion, but when he saw that she had no intention of harming him, he slowly approached. Anna took out a few pieces of bread from her lunch and gently gave them to him. The dog sniffed at them, then carefully nibbled at each piece. The sight warmed Anna's heart more than ever. After eating, the dog seemed to have regained some strength. Anna decided that she couldn't leave him here. She took off her coat, wrapped it around the dog, and picked him up. "We're going home, baby," she said softly. When she got home, Anna immediately prepared a warm place for the dog to sleep. She bathed him, removed the dirt, and brushed his fur. The dog seemed to enjoy Anna's care and began to rub against her hand, as if to thank her. In the following days, Anna took care of the dog little by little. She named it Lulu because its fur was as white as cotton. Lulu was fed well, taken to the vet, and gradually recovered. Anna felt the bond between them deepening. As time passed, Lulu became Anna's close companion. She often took Lulu to the park, where she could run and play with other dogs. Lulu also became happier and more active, no longer as sad as before. One afternoon, while sitting on a bench in the park, Anna and Max watched the sunset together. Anna felt happy and grateful for saving Lulu. She thought about what had happened and realized that saving a life not only brought joy to the dog, but also to herself. Gradually, Lulu was not just a dog, but also an indispensable part of Anna's life. She found joy and new meaning in life thanks to Lulu. They spent happy moments together, afternoons walking, nights watching movies together. One day, while sitting at the dining table, Anna looked at Lulu and said, "Thank you, Lulu. Thanks to you, my life has become much richer." Lulu looked at her with eyes full of affection, as if understanding her every word. Anna and Lulu's lives became attached and full of memories. Together, they overcame difficulties, stormy days, and enjoyed sunny days. Anna realizes that sometimes the smallest and simplest things bring the greatest happiness. Lulu the dog is not only a rescued creature but also a friend, a member of Anna's family. And from there, the two together write a beautiful story of love and sharing, making their lives more meaningful than ever. I invite you to listen to the story. The dog saved an old man's life. A small hospital room. An old man, Mr. Thompson, lies in bed, staring at the ceiling. His eyes are filled with sadness. The room is quiet, except for the beeping of medical equipment. Mr. Thompson lived a long life, but in his later years he found himself lonely. His wife had passed away, his children lived far away, and he had no one to talk to. The days turned into months, and he lost all hope. Scene changed to a nurse carrying a golden retriever. One day, a nurse entered the room carrying a small golden retriever. The dog wagged his tail excitedly, sensing the man's loneliness. Nurse smiling, "Mr. Thompson, meet Charlie. He is a therapy dog and he is here to keep you company." Mr. Thompson, looking at the dog weakly, "I don't need a dog. I just want to sleep." However, Charlie doesn't give up. He jumps onto the bed and gently rests his head on Mr. Thompson's limp hand. The warmth of the dog's touch brings back a feeling the old man hasn't felt in years' comfort. For the first time in months, Mr. Thompson feels something different connection. For the next few days, Charlie keeps coming back. He lies next to Mr. Thompson, listens to him talk, and even licks his tears when he cries. One morning, the nurse walks in and sees something surprising. Mr. Thompson, who has barely moved in weeks, is sitting up, gently stroking Charlie with a small smile. Nurse, surprised, "Good morning, Mr. Thompson. You look better today." Mr. Thompson smiling softly. "That's Charlie. He makes me feel alive again." Charlie's unconditional love gave Mr. Thompson a reason to get up every day. Slowly, he began to regain his strength. his will to live, and most importantly, his hope. A few months later, Mr. Thompson is seen sitting in a wheelchair. Outside in the hospital, Charlie sits at his feet, looking at him with love. Mr. Thompson stroking Charlie, "You saved me, little boy. Thank you for bringing light back into my life." Sometimes, all it takes to heal a heart is the love of a loyal friend. Charlie is more than just a dog, he's a lifesaver. Never underestimate the power of love. Sometimes the smallest heart can make the biggest difference. In the heart of a dense forest, where the whispers of the trees tell tales of ancient times, a young wolf roamed with the grace and curiosity inherent to its kind. Life in the wild was a blend of freedom and peril, with each day presenting challenges that honed the instincts of these majestic creatures. This particular wolf, with its sleek fur and piercing eyes, had always been cautious, yet the lure of sustenance often led it to the fringes of its territory. One fateful day, driven by an insatiable hunger, the wolf ventured closer to the edge of the forest than ever before. The scent of potential prey wafted through the air, mingling with unfamiliar odors that hinted at human activity. Unbeknownst to the wolf, a construction site lay ahead of Scar on the landscape where trees once stood tall. As it treaded cautiously, the ground beneath gave way, leading it to plunge into a concealed water-filled pit. The icy embrace of the water was a shock, and the wolf's initial attempts to claw its way out proved futile. The walls were steep, and the more it struggled, the more energy it expended. Hours turned into days, and the once vibrant creature found itself on the brink of exhaustion, its howls for help swallowed by the vast emptiness around. On the second day of the wolf's ordeal, the distant hum of machinery signaled the return of workers to the site. Among them were two men, seasoned by years of labor, yet softened by innate compassion. As they approached the area, faint, desperate sounds reached their ears. Following the cries, they discovered the distressed animal struggling in the water. Moved by empathy, they sprang into action. Retrieving a sturdy rope, they fashioned a makeshift lasso and, with careful coordination, lowered it into the pit, managing to loop it around the wolf's body. Combining their strength, they heaved the exhausted creature out of its watery trap, bringing it safely to solid ground. The wolf lay motionless, sides heaving, eyes reflecting a mix of fear and relief. Recognizing the fragility of the life before them, the men knew their timely intervention had saved the wolf from an imminent fate. One of the workers, a man named Elias, felt an inexplicable connection to the creature. Memories of his childhood, filled with tales of wolves and wilderness, flooded his mind. Despite understanding the wild nature of the animal, he couldn't bear the thought of leaving it vulnerable. With a gentle touch, he covered the wolf with his jacket, providing warmth against the biting cold. Transporting it to his modest home at the forest's edge, Elias prepared a space in his barn, laying down soft blankets and setting out bowls of water and scraps of meat. The wolf, though weak, remained alert, its eyes following every movement with a mix of caution and curiosity. The initial days were a delicate dance of boundaries and intentions. Elias approached the barn with measured steps, speaking in soothing tones, offering food and water. The wolf, driven by hunger, accepted the sustenance but kept a wary distance. Nights were filled with the sounds of the forest, and Elias often found himself sitting by the barn, sharing the silence with his enigmatic guest. Over time, the wolf's demeanor shifted. The once tense muscles relaxed, and its eyes softened. It began to associate Elias's presence with safety and nourishment. The barriers of mistrust slowly crumbled, replaced by a budding bond that transcended the divide between man and beast. A few months later, James, now neatly shaved and wearing a suit, walks into an office for a job interview. He is nervous, but hopeful. The hiring manager looks at his resume, frowning. "Recruiter, I see a gap in your resume. Can you explain?" James, taking a deep breath, "I've struggled, but I've worked hard to rebuild my life. I know what it's like to struggle to survive, and I also know the value of perseverance and gratitude. If I'm given the chance, I won't let you down." With Sarah's help and his own determination, James finally found a job. It wasn't an easy road, but step by step, he got his life back. As seasons changed, so did the dynamics of the relationship. Shadow had become an integral part of Elias's family, yet the call of the wild echoed in the distance. There were nights when Shadow would stand at the edge of the forest, ears perked, listening to the howls of distant packs. Elias observed this, understanding the internal conflict within his lupin friend. He knew that true freedom for Shadow meant returning to its natural habitat, but the bond they had forged made the thought of separation bittersweet. One crisp morning, Elias made a decision. He opened the gate to the forest, giving Shadow the choice to return to the wild. With a heavy heart, he watched as Shadow step beyond the threshold. Pausing to look back, their eyes locking in a moment of understanding. Days passed, and Shadow's absence was palpable. The forest seemed quieter, and the void left behind was profound. Yet, just as Elias began to accept that Shadow had returned to its origins, a familiar silhouette appeared at the forest's edge. Shadow had chosen to come back, not out of necessity, but out of affection and loyalty. Shadow's story became a testament to the transformative power of compassion. The villagers, initially skeptical of harboring a wild predator, witnessed the profound bond between Elias and Shadow. It challenged their perceptions of wild animals, fostering a sense of coexistence and respect for nature. Children would gather to hear the tale of the wolf who chose love over instinct, and Shadow became a symbol of unity between the human world and the wild. The journey of Shadow and Elias serves as a poignant reminder of the connections that bind all living beings. An act of kindness not only saved a life but also bridged the gap between two worlds. It underscores the idea that empathy and understanding can lead to extraordinary relationships, transforming fear into trust and enmity into companionship. In the end, the lines between the wild and the tame blur, revealing that at the core, all creatures seek connection, safety, and love. Hello everyone, this is the story of the special friendship between Bone Digger and Milo. Animal friendships sometimes bring magical stories, overcoming all natural barriers. These stories not only touch the human heart, but also demonstrate the power of love and connection. One of the most remarkable stories is the friendship between Bone Digger, a lion with a rare bone disease, and Milo, a small but brave dachshund. Bone Digger was born with a rare bone disease, which makes it difficult for him to walk and hunt. This has created a lonely and isolated life for him in an animal sanctuary. Other lions can run, hunt, and live freely, but Bone Digger has to face his own limitations. He often feels sad and lonely, unable to participate in fun activities with his friends. Bone Digger's life is quiet, with long days passing by without anyone by his side. He often lies alone, watching the other lions play while he himself cannot participate. This situation lasts for a long time, making Bone Digger feel hopeless and lacking in friendship. Everything began to change when Milo, a small but brave dachshund, entered Bone Digger's life. Milo was an energetic dog, always full of joy and excitement. From the first time he saw Bone Digger, Milo seemed to sense the lion's weakness. Without hesitation, Milo decided to befriend Bone Digger. At first, Bone Digger seemed hesitant. The young lion was not used to being close to another animal, especially a dog much smaller than him. However, Milo's perseverance and courage helped the two gradually become inseparable best friends. Milo often played and teased Bone Digger, making him gradually more active. Simple games like chasing each other or dancing together brought joy to Bone Digger, helping him forget the sadness of the past. As the lion grew up, their friendship remained strong. Despite the difference in size, Milo was always confident and never felt afraid when being with Bone Digger. The friendship between Bone Digger and Milo was not just a connection between two different animals, but also a deep bond. They slept next to each other, sharing warm and happy moments every day. Milo was not only a friend, but also a great source of encouragement for Bone Digger. The lion learned how to love and care from Milo, and this helped him grow into a stronger lion. Milo even helped Bone Digger clean up after each meal, showing his care and affection for his larger friend. These small but meaningful actions created a precious relationship between the two different animals. However, a big challenge came when Bone Digger grew up. When he became a 500-pound adult lion, many people were concerned for Milo's safety. The conservation staff, despite knowing the special friendship between them, decided to separate them to avoid any possible accidents. The decision was difficult, but they believed it was necessary to protect both of them. This separation caused Bone Digger to fall into a state of depression. He became quiet, lost his usual cheerfulness, and even stopped eating. The caretakers realized that Bone Digger was more than just a lion. He was very affectionate and missed his friend. The sight of the sad lion, with no spirit to live, made everyone feel heartbroken. After a few months, when they saw that Bone Digger's condition showed no signs of improvement, the conservation staff decided to let Milo return to Bone Digger. The moment the two friends reunited was very touching. Bone Digger immediately jumped up, his eyes lit up when he recognized Milo. Without hesitation, they ran to each other, rubbing their heads together as if they had never been apart. This reunion was not only a happy moment, but also a testament to the power of friendship. They continued to play and cuddle as before, proving that friendship has no boundaries of species or size. Milo brought joy and life back to Bone Digger, helping him overcome the difficulties that life had posed. The story of Bone Digger and Milo is not only a testament to the amazing friendship between animals, but also a reminder of the power of bonding, loyalty, and unconditional love. Their friendship shows that, regardless of size, species, or circumstances, love and connection can overcome all. This story also reminds us of the importance of caring for and loving the creatures around us. Whether it is a mighty lion or a small dog, every animal has its own unique characteristics. Please listen to the touching story, The Little Dog Changes the Life of a Disabled Old Man. In a small snow-covered town, there was an old man named Mr. Martin. He lived alone in a small wooden house next to the town. Many years ago, an accident took away his legs, forcing him to use a wheelchair. With no family around, his days passed in silence, with only the sound of the wind whistling through the flowers as his companion. One day, as winter was approaching, Mr. Martin heard a weak cry on the porch. When he opened the door, he saw a small, shaggy dog shivering from the cold. Its eyes lit up, full of hope. Mr. Martin could not bear to leave it, so he carried it into the house, placed it near the stove, and gave it some food. He named it Max. From that day on, Max became his only one. It was always by his side, following his wheelchair when he went out, and resting its head on his feet on cold winter nights. But Max was more than just a friend. It seemed to understand Mr. Martin's difficulties. When he dropped his writing, Max would pick it up. When he needed to get something from a distance, Max would run to bring it to him. Rest assured, it even learned how to pull his wheelchair when the road was slippery, making it easier for him to move. One dark evening, when a sudden snowstorm came, Mr. Martin was stuck in the house and could not go out to buy food. The electricity was cut off, and the cold began to penetrate every corner. He shivered and hugged Max, worried about what to do. But Max certainly understood his situation. It accelerated decisively and rushed out the door. Despite the strong snowstorm, it ran straight to the nearest neighbor's house, knocking on the door with its snout. When the neighbors opened the door, Max jumped up and down, pulling their shirts, signaling that something was wrong. Thanks to Max, the neighbors responded promptly to help Mr. Martin. They brought food, fixed the heater, and brightened the small house. Mr. Martin could not hold back his tears of emotion. Looking at Max, he whispered, "Thank you, Max. You are not just a dog, you are my family." From then on, Mr. Martin's life changed. Neighbors visited him more often, and Max was always loyal to him. During the cold winter, Max brought warmth not only with his small base, but also with the unconditional love he gave him. The touching story of a dog helping a blind owner. In a city of Florence in Italy, Europe, there was a man named Luca. Luca had a challenging life when he lost his sight since he was a child. Although he could not see the light, Luca always had an optimistic spirit and loved life. To help himself, Luca decided to adopt a dog, and that was a decision that changed both of their lives. The dog is named Rocky, a lovely yellow Labrador. From the first time they met, Luca felt a special connection with Rocky. The dog was not only a friend, but also a loyal companion. Luca taught Max many basic commands, and Rocky quickly learned, becoming an intelligent and sensitive dog. Every morning, Luca and Rocky go out together to explore the ancient streets of Florence. Rocky leads Luca, helping him avoid obstacles on the way. The dog is always careful, never letting Luca bump into anything. There are times when Luca feels tired and depressed, but just hearing Rocky's happy barking, he is full of energy. Rocky is not only Luca's eyes, but also a great source of motivation, helping him overcome difficulties. One day, when the two were walking in Bobley Park, Luca heard a woman's cry for help. She fell and couldn't get up. Luca immediately felt worried and didn't know what to do. But Rocky, with his sharp instincts, quickly ran to the girl's side, using his nose to gently push her, as if to say, "I will help you." Luca heard the noise and followed Rocky's lead. He reached the girl. With Rocky's help, Luca called the emergency services and stayed by the girl's side until help arrived. This situation not only proves Rocky's intelligence, but also demonstrates the unconditional friendship between the dog and his owner. Luca feels proud of Rocky, and from then on, the bond between them becomes even stronger. The story of Luca and Rocky is not only a testament to the love between humans and dogs, but also a lesson in loyalty and sharing. Rocky not only helps Luca in his daily life, but also helps him regain his faith in life. The two have overcome many challenges together, and their friendship has become an indispensable part of each other's lives. Rocky the dog has proven that, even if he cannot see the light, the love and support of a loyal friend can bring light to the darkest days. Their story will always be an inspiration to those who believe in the power of friendship and loyalty.